front of a bunch of cameras.
In one of the largest trades in NBA history, 10-time All-Star Kevin Garnett was traded over the summer to the Boston Celtics for 5 players, a draft pick, and some cash. To break down a deal of this magnitude, I've asked SportsMock Live commentator Stephen Be Quiet to join us. Stephen?
Thanks, Joe. I'm Stephen Be Quiet, and after 14 cups of double espresso, I'm ready to break down one of the biggest trades in NBA history. Now, if you don't know, Kevin Garnett was traded to the Celtics in exchange for Ryan Gomes, Gerald Green, Al Jefferson, my man Theo Ratliff, Sebastian Telfair, a first-round draft pick, and my personal favorite, a big bag of money. Booyah! One guy for 5 guys? Are you kidding me? That is just ridiculous. Then again, as I always say, some dude offers you 5 for 1, you get that deal done. What is also ridiculous is if you combine the last names of all those guys, you get Gordon Fair. That's the combined player the Timberwolves receives. That's with 3 Fs in a row. Big time. This, of course, is known as a Frankenstein-like approach to naming things. Coincidentally, Frankenstein was one of the nicknames of former Celtic Kevin McHale. He's the GM who put this trade together. Who was the other GM on this deal, you might ask? Why, it just so happens to be Danny Ainge, a former Celtics teammate of Mr. McHale. I smell conspiracy. Ainge, of course, is known for his NBA career, but also a short-lived baseball career with the Toronto Blue Jays, during which he only batted .220, which just so happens to be the number of times Ainge called McHale, begging him to save this job and make this trade. Kevin McHale, while being a horrible GM himself, did win 3 NBA championships, mainly because he played with someone called Larry Bird, who was sometimes known as Basketball Jesus by his fans. Not to be confused with Black Jesus, who was on one of my favorite TV shows of all times, Good Times. Man, I love that song. Good Times. Anyway, Jesus Shuttlesworth could also be confused with him. He's a basketball player played by Ray Allen in the movie He Got Game, who coincidentally was also acquired by the Celtics this summer. Now, Allen was supposedly the key in getting Garnett and is expected to draw numerous double teams on the court. Not like the double team he had in He Got Game with adult actresses Jill Kelly and Chasey Lane. That should have been an Oscar-winning thing right there, but we'll move on. What does all this mean? I'll tell you. The Celtics getting Garnett and Allen will certainly bring more misery to New York Knicks superfan Spike Lee, who coincidentally directed Ray Allen and Denzel Washington in He Got Game and wrote the famous double team scene I mentioned earlier. The Knicks, of course, are coached by the worst GM in sports, Isaiah Thomas, who in his playing days was known as Zeke, which rhymes with bleak, which is also a character in Mo Better Blues, which is also directed by Spike Lee, but we won't get into that. Let's focus. All right. Bleak is what the season of the Knicks will be now that Boston has Garnett and Allen. And bleak also begins with P, or begins with B, which rhymes with P, which stands for pool. Any questions, Joe? I'm Stephen Be Quiet, and that's no coincidence.
Thank you, Stephen. As always, I'm not sure I understand anything you just said, but I enjoyed it anyway. Finally, we have a very special video of a very unique football play from an unknown youth football coach. Now, I want you to watch closely. The coach who came up with this is either a genius or the biggest dirtbag on the planet, or both. Take a look, and you decide.
Buckle up there. All right, bring him here. Bring him here. Go. Go. There you go.
Okay, my favorite part of this video is when the guy who's holding the camera says, go. Here's my question. Is it the coach? Did he call the play? All right, memo to opposing fans and coaches. If the coach on the other side of the field has a video camera and he's taping what appears to be a dead ball, nothing going on the field, you might want to look out for a trick play. All right? Watch this again closely.
All right, bring it here. Bring it here. Go. Go. There you go.
Yay! We fooled a bunch of 10-year-olds and won by a cheap touchdown. Pop Warner football. It's not about whether you win or lose. It's about whether you win. Good job, Coach. I'm Joe Hannum, and this has been SportsMock Live. Back to you at All Bets Are Off.